What's up everyone, Bren here and welcome back to another gameplay guide video, and this time I'll be covering the essentials of playing Storm Spirit, who in my opinion is easily a top 3 pub stomping hero. So Storm Spirit is an int carry slash ganking hero with high mobility, high farm rate, he's a complete blast to play, and he's actually one of my least picked heroes in Dota 2 surprisingly, but I've been playing him a bit because I've had people message me asking me to cover heroes that can dominate pubs, they've played well, so I've been playing him as a bit more to get a better understanding, so I can actually give you guys some good insight. Storm's a hero who does really well in uncoordinated games, such as pub games, because in order to keep him down, you really have to have good disables and usually solid 5-man play, which means just in pubs that type of stuff is generally lacking. The common thing to see in pub games is actually going to be like 3 greedy laners, a jungler such as Bloodseeker, Furion, shit like that. At least until your MMR is higher. And even then, it never truly goes away. So that usually means the enemy team has a solo support, who just ends up being a complete feed target because, well, it's a solo support, and they generally just don't have any disables. So this is gonna be a really good video as well because I'm gonna be covering how to handle difficult mid lane matchups, which usually means laning against Leshrac, Lina, etc. Heroes that completely shit on whoever they're laning against. So as you can see right there, I actually put down 2 static remnants just to zone them out, just in case if Leshrac actually wanted to go for the rune, he would have to take a lot of damage. So he just kind of backed off. I just blew my mana just to ensure that I get the rune. So for my starting build, this is really important, guys. For your starting build, if you know that you're going to be having a difficult lane, you go 3 branches, which means against the heroes I just mentioned, like Lina, Leshrac, OD, Viper, those heroes, you need to go 3 branches so that you can rush a bottle out and start spamming your static remnant. So I'm going to be playing a little bit back, just getting my last hits in. He has high ground advantage, but I'm going to be hitting him whenever he trades with me. I'm going to have my bottle coming out and just trying to deny the lane back, and then I'll be using my static remnant to get my last hits. I just go up there and I'm just going to use my mana. I don't even care. It's not a very big deal. Your goal as Storm mid is not to completely crush the enemy. Your job is to get farm. Get farm so that during the mid game you actually have your items up so you can start shitting on some kids, right? So I'll lay down static remnant right there. Use just to get my overlord proc in, just to make the last hit easier. I drop another overlord even. I have my passive buff up, so hit that creep. There should be another hit right there, yes. So bottling up. So this item build is really important. 3 branches plus pool tangos versus difficult lanes almost every time. If it's not a difficult lane, then you can go for a null talisman. For sure, like Storm is actually a really good laner. It's just that some heroes are just insanely strong in this current patch that you'll have to go for the branch build. Otherwise, you'll get like zoned out completely, and your bottle timing will be way too late. As you've seen right there, I drop my branches, then use my bottle to increase the efficiency because when you pick your items back up, it's percentage based. You maintain the same percentage, but you have more mana overall. So drop your items when you bottle, whenever possible. Of course, you're not always going to do it. Now, I see Leshrac went for the rune, which means that that's some easy time for me to just get every CS in. I don't even care if the lane pushes. He had an invis, but he ends up not getting it anyways. He's actually missing some CS by going for that, so it's kind of a weird bait. I think Nyx was actually like clicking on the courier on me or trolling me or something. I don't know. The Nyx was just like trolling me this game. Yeah. So I see that the lane is pushed. He's a Leshrac. He has lightning and shit. I cannot lane. So what you do as a Storm Spirit, if you have a really difficult lane and it's completely pushed up to their hill, is all you do is you literally just go in jungle. You just go in jungle, spam your overload, and try and bottle fairy as much as you can. But my teammates had to use the courier quite a bit in the early game, so I wasn't able to bottle fairy as much as I wanted to. So just taking out this jungle. I'm gonna run back mid. I have my boots. Actually, I'm just gonna go heal because I've seen that it creeps. I do have that archer still. It's gonna be pushing in, but I really need to have my mana because Leshrac's lightning, his start ability is just so strong right now. It's been getting buffed over the patches, and that's actually why he's really Leshrac is basically the #1 mid in the game right now. I'd say he's just really strong, but with some good jungling, some good knowledge of like lane fundamentals, you can actually make it work against Leshrac as a Storm. Just playing back. something to be wary of is always the time. If you have the opportunity to go and stack the hard camp, I recommend it. So I see it's 343. I don't really want to go and sit up in the lane. His laning is way too good. He has insane spammability on it, and it does a lot of damage. So it's hard to just sit in the lane against him. So I'm stacking that camp, coming back mid. So even though I might be a little bit behind on him in terms of CS, and I'm not too far behind. I'm 18-0. He's 22-2. It's not that big, not that big of a deal. Mostly because I took out that medium camp earlier, the 3 ogres. So not afraid to use my mana at all whatsoever. It's not like I'm going to be able to use my mana to be aggressive on him, so I might as well just make sure that I ensure that I get some creeps whenever they do push into my tower or get near my side of the river. So actually dodge that stun. If he hit that stun there, I might have died because one stun into an auto attack into his lightning probably would have killed me. As you see, I put my bottle on the courier. I'm going to be bottle fearing. I don't have an upgraded one right now, but it's not too big of a deal. Going back to the medium camp, just gonna farm this up. I'm not gonna be farming. I'm not going to be stacking the hard camp because I really value just getting my level 6 right away on this hero. Stacking the hard camp would actually given me more gold, like at a later date, because I would have been able to stack the hard camp and then come back for the medium. But I just want my 6 as fast as possible. All right, so take out the medium camp though, so I will be able to take out this right away. Now, so he came for me really smartly. He figured I was jungling. When you get to like really high MMR like this, people basically assume that you'll be jungling if you're off the map for so long. And let's check my MMR actually. I'm currently 6.5. Just to give you some background information on this game. It was a pretty high MMR game, high MMR average. I think like maybe 5.7 average MMR on both teams. It might have been higher actually. I don't really remember. It was either 5.7 or 6k average. I might be confusing the two of the games. Anyways, so I'm coming over here to take out the stack. It's really, I cannot stress enough how much stacking and jungling on Storm Spirit is if you have a difficult lane matchup. That is how you overcome these lanes. The issue that I see a lot of players run into mid, if they have a difficult lane, is they'll kind of just sit there idly and let the enemy mid just completely shit on them when there's like an open jungle to take. Now, this is going to be a little bit more hard. This will be harder to do if you have a jungle on your team, such as Furion or an Axe, who's just like taking all of the jungle space. But if you have an open jungle, go ahead and utilize it. The enemy mid will be if the enemy mid is smart, he will be pushing into your tower, which means after you do a jungle rotation, you'll be able to go and get some last hits on our tower for the lane. So I'm going for Soul Ring right now. So once I get the Soul Ring, my farm rate should increase by a lot. So with Soul Ring, I'm going to be building it into a Bloodstone. I'm looking bot because I'm curious to see if I can maybe get a gank off. I see that they're diving. Shadow Demon got disruption off, so I'm going to be ulting forward. I thought I was, yeah, so I ulted basically a little bit past him to avoid any torrent. Leshek is kind of dove. He couldn't back off because the creep was blocking his passage. As you can see, Sadoy is in this game actually. He's on Brown, he's on Abaddon. So, coming over to these neutrals, just farming them up. I see the rune is spawning right now, so I'm thinking about maybe getting it. But I decide not to. Actually, I'm like, alright, maybe I can get it. But I am really low, and this is probably a bad idea in hindsight. So taking a look at top. So yeah, there's basically 2 item builds right now. Two first major items that you go on Storm. It's either Orchid if you're like dominating, or it's Bloodstone if you're kind of like breaking even in terms of the game state, or if you're doing badly. But even if you are doing really good, you can still go Bloodstone, because it helps you just snowball really effectively. So I'm looking around, maybe I can gank somewhere. Not too sure. I'm just gonna head back mid, play it safe, keep my farm up. Leshrac is dead, so this will be a really good time to farm. I'll be able to get this entire wave. As you can see, I'd pop my remnant. I'm not afraid to use my mana, being as efficient as possible. 49 CS, which is pretty good. I'd say against difficult lanes that you, even up against difficult lanes, I'd say you probably want to be around 50 CS by 10 minutes. If you have like a jungler though, that's kind of stopping you from doing like efficient jungle routes in the early game, then probably less. Well, most definitely less, but you'll kind of just have to deal with those type of games. Play patient, do the best that you can. Hopefully, like the space that you're creating is enough for your jungler to come out to create some space once he does finally leave the jungler. Leave the jungle. Now, take out these mud golems. Mud golems aren't completely magic immune anymore. They do take some magic damage, so I'm hitting them down. Going back mid, I have 50 CS. 10 minutes was about what I said. 59 CS. As you can see, that lightning is just so annoying. It has really good range, spammable. It slows you, so you can usually get an auto attack in or two if he's close enough after he casts it. I didn't really discuss skill build, but essentially the go-to build is maxing Overload. So by level 7 you want 1 in Remnant, 1 in Vortex, 4 in Overload, and then 1 in the Ball Lightning. Yeah, and then after that, once you have that, you can basically decide where you want to go from there. If you plan on doing a lot of farming, then I'd say max static Remnant. Or if you want to be doing a lot of ganking, go for Vortex. But either way, it completely depends on the game and how you feel. If you have a lot of disables and you want to be fighting, then static Remnant will still be good because you'll be able to use your teammates' disables to get your damage off. And then you'll have the benefit of still being able to farm really fast. So I have Bloodstone in my quick buy. Going back to the jungle, pushed out mid, taking out the stack. So popping my ulti to proc my overload, just be as efficient as possible. Popping my ultimate again. I don't really want to go back mid. They're kind of missing, and Leshrac can run me down way too easily. He has high movement speed. So we got the Kunkka bot. That's really good. It's really important. I'm pinging the tower, saying, all right, let's push that out, pressure it out, maybe force a rotation from Leshrac, just so I can get some farm in. As you can see in this game, we really don't have any way to actually take team fights. Shadow Demon is pretty bad team fighter unless you have a tanky lineup, so we can sit back and get off a lot of poisons, which we don't have any brawlers in our team. Techies is Techies. He's just a solo hero. He doesn't really contribute in team fights. Nyx is mostly a ganker. He can team fight, but once again, he's kind of a hero that needs frontlining, brawling heroes to get off really easy stuns. Anti-Mage is a split push hero. He can start fighting once he has like 3 or 4 big items up, but until then, he won't be able to fight against our team, especially with Tree, and he needs at least a Manta, a Battlefury to fight. And even then, he'll probably need a BKB this game for the Leshrac. Or a Heart. So coming back mid, clearing out that wave. As you can notice, guys, I'm always basically looking around to get my farm. You don't want to ever be idle, just like sitting around waiting. You always want to be seeing, like, you always want to be doing something. If it's not like fighting, then it should be farming. Maybe just pushing towers, or like baiting heroes. Do something. Do not just sit idle. It's really important that you do not sit idle. So let's try to push it in for me so I can go get the hard camp. Or maybe go bot, because I see the Abaddon heading bot and their team heading bot. Pinging it out. Maybe, alright, just go show in the lanes so we can take a fight. But I see that they're kind of just backing up. As I said, we can't really take team fights until much later. And we might not be able to take team fights at all. Which is actually unfortunate. I should be popping my Soul Ring here actually to give me some mana, popping on Strength Treads and switching back to Int, but I did not do that there. It's a mistake by me. So I have my lane pushing in. Leshrac is just continuously pressuring. He's making it really hard for me to actually just ever leave the lane. If I leave the lane, he will take the tower. If he's alive, obviously. Yeah, coming back over to the hard camp. Swapping over to Int when I use my Remnant. Popping my ulti, no problem. Might as well get the extra damage in. I really just need to have enough farm in this game. You need to be making sure that you actually have enough farm so that when battles do start breaking out and stuff starts happening, that you can take advantage of that and just dominate the enemy team. If you're even on farm with them, then you're gonna have to rely on your teammates a lot to win the battles and just win the game, essentially. But if you can get ahead like this, your chances of winning are gonna be much higher. If you feel that you actually can like outskill the enemy team, I'd say. It's kind of weird, and it's kind of a really short explanation of it, but I'll probably make a longer explanation somewhere down the road. So porting back in mid, I have my Fountain buff, using my Remnant. This should be 2 hits still, even though I'm sitting at 79 damage. Yeah. Just doing the same farming pattern I've been doing the entire game, sticking to it, just getting my farm in. Storm is a really great late game hero even. Really underestimated. He's really strong late game. He's really hard to push into because of buybacks, Bloodstone charges, just with instant respawn. Because Bloodstone, obviously, it lowers your death timer. Alright, so we're going in. I didn't really want to go in to this because they have Abaddon, they have a Kunkka, they're all here. We cannot go in on this, but Nyx just runs in. Yeah, I don't know. He was like kind of like. So he says report Storm. I don't know what he really wanted me to do there. He had half his HP still. Even if I got off 1 Remnant and like 2 Overload shots, it still wouldn't have mattered. Yeah. Actually, maybe I should just mute this guy. Yeah, just mute him. Even though this, yeah. Alright, so I'll pop my Remnant. Going back to the hard camp. Looking around. Use my ultimate. Being pretty inefficient with regards to my Soul Ring. I should be dropping it. Dropping my point booster and then use my Soul Ring on Strength Treads, but I guess I figured that I need to go back to base anyways. There's really nowhere else to farm there. Shadow Demon's there. Nyx is heading mid. Yeah. Gonna port top. Bottom is kind of pushed in. Mid is going to be pushing in. We have 2 in our jungle. Just looking for some farm space. Techies is up here. Maybe I can do something. Maybe I can bait them into a mine. Jug is pretty farmed at this stage of the game. I'm still sitting on top of the CS. It's kind of surprising. I guess I've just been farming the entire game, but Leshrac is just such a pain to deal with mid. Alright, so I spot Juggernaut. It's backing off now. Going back top to farm. Just gonna be pushing out the lane. If I can take if I can push this out and then take the jungle creeps, that'll be denying a lot of the farm from their carry Juggernaut. So you're gonna be playing pretty aggressively in terms of your farming. You don't always have to be playing aggressively in like the standard fashion where you're focusing on killing enemy heroes. You can do it in like an economy sort of way where you're just completely limiting their farm by taking it, pressuring their lane creeps in. So picked up the bounty rune, heading back mid. I forced the rotations top, Techies. Even though Techies died, it wasn't like a bad death by any means. We forced the rotations. We need to stall the game out. Our team fight is completely bad. The way we're going to be winning this game is basically through split push, which is another thing you need to be watching out for. Because there's going to be some games where you'll never be able to win a team fight. And the only way that you're going to be really winning is by completely splitting them up, getting off ganks, and just out farming them. And then once you have done that enough times, if you have accumulated like a 30k gold lead, 30k EXP lead, then you can maybe take a 5-on-5. But we will not be able to fight them with equal farm and equal EXP this game. Especially with like things such as Coco Realm, which cuts their damage in half for a duration. Right side. So just gonna TP top. I saw the fight breaking out. Whenever people get dove like that, just go ahead and use your TP, especially after you push out a lane, which I did. I have my ultimate, so I'm gonna be popping it. Gonna hit him once, ulti, and then we end up getting him with the mana burn. So pretty simple kill. One thing I'd say is to never overzip on this hero. It's kind of something I've been learning, kind of been working on since I've said that. I don't, this isn't like a hero that I play too much. I play him very rarely. One of the issues I see people that just start playing him, and including myself, is that you overzip so that you like your idea is that you want to be like right on top of them, but it's not really that great when you think about it, because in the end, if you are in range to hit them, you're still getting in the damage, and if you have the extra mana to get constant zips off, you're going to be getting more overload charges, which does 90 damage and a very heavy movement slow at 80%. So yeah, so you want to zip just slightly in range of them and then attack them, and then use your spells to proc your overload. Something I'm working on, something that I see people need to work on. Right, so looks like there might be a fight breaking out. Maybe we can go on Treant. We're all here. Our lanes are pushing, so this would be a really good time to fight. Simple kill. Or no, we didn't kill him. He went invis actually, but I do have my Bloodstone, so maybe I can stick around and get a fight. But they popped the Coco Room, so they're taking no damage. We cannot fight them. Yeah, it's kind of a bad idea to fight, but it was actually some space for AM to start doing some damage to the buildings, so that's really important. Pushing out top lane. So pushing out top lane now. I have my Bloodstone, so my farming will start accelerating. If I get some charges, it'll become extremely fast. Hitting these creeps down. Let me catapult here. Pushing this tower. Going on these creeps. Just using my mana. I know that they're all mid, so I'm pushing out the lane as fast as I can, just so my own creeps don't die as fast. Even taking the tower a little bit right there. I want to be getting this tower. If we can take out their safe lane tower, that means that we have a lot more access to their jungler, to their jungle. It'll be easier to get up offensive wards so that we can eventually get off pickoffs, which is what I've been talking about. We have a pickoff ganking split push lineup, so we need to be playing to our abilities. They have basically an all-in teamfight lineup with not too many. They really don't have many disables. I'd say the strongest one would probably be X against me. Yeah, for sure X. But they're basically all in on team fight. They don't have too much in terms of split push or gank. But they do go late game pretty well in terms of actually fighting. So taking out that camp. I saw a mine proc, so that was kind of weird. Taking out these creeps. Just gonna use my remnant, got them all down. No point in just standing there, auto-attacking them down. If I can just use my remnant on all the low ones. So we know they're roshing. I didn't have enough mana, and I wasn't in range to actually... if I TP down there to the bottom tier 2 tower, I wouldn't have had enough mana to go in for the steal. And even then, it's always risky for you if you go for those steals. Yeah, it's a huge risk, and I just didn't want to take that with the amount of mana I had. Even if I did get it, I wouldn't have had enough mana to actually like go zip in and then zip out, so I would have burned the Aegis. If Fleshrack was there to stun me, I would have died. So pushing this tower, as you can see, guys, it's really hard to push these towers against Treant, because you can always heal them up, but still, you want to be swinging them around the map. This is basically how you outplay teams if your draft or your lineup is really I don't want to say worse, but I guess harder to execute. You just need to be playing the map more. Playing the economy game. So top is getting pushed in. I want to push that out. But there's this camp here. And AM is farming top, so just gonna taking this. Taking it fairly quickly so that it respawns. Zipping to the easy camp. Using my mobility. I see that the creeps are spawning. This is another thing that you want to be doing in your games to create a lot of space. I see them on the map, so I'm just going to be coming over here. I'm just going to cut the lane completely. So cutting the lane, using my spells. Just going to hit down this catapult. Just pressuring their tower. Taking a look at mid. See the Coco Rum, the ghost ship goes flying in towards Shadow Demon. Poor Shadow Demon. It's a really rough game. Yeah, so they're pushing in now. We do have some mines in place to be taking out some of their creeps, but not the best mine placement. Porting back now. I have my Bloodstone. Even if I die, I still have buyback, so we can actually take this fight really easy. I don't even care if I die, as long as I get some charges. But I just zip, pretty simple zip onto the Treant. They're really pressured, so when you put on a lot of pressure like this, they'll kind of do these dumb engagements where they go for like a dumb high ground push, which is kind of what they have to do. So it's not actually dumb at all. But so we got the kill on Treant. I'm going back to base. I want full mana. If I can get a full mana zip off, I can maybe cancel some TP so AM can go to continue to get top. But I didn't have my Vortex up there, so I didn't stick around. I couldn't cancel TPs with it on cooldown. Shadow Demon puts on his poison, evasion. AM is doing a really good job split pushing, using the space that our team is creating. So that me coming back wasn't worth it. And okay, that was really... Man, he's just completely outplaying them, to be honest. Really good play by AM. 202. He hasn't died once. He has pretty good farm. 192 CS. It's a really hard game. Anti-mage versus Kunkka. It's really easy for Kunkka to gank him, to pull back. Pushing mid in. I went for my Orchid next. If you go Bloodstone first, I would say almost always go Orchid next. And it's not even so much just for the disable. The disable is really nice, and it's going to be good for the entire game. Even with things such as BKBs, which will go down in duration, and things such as Lincolns. It just gives you a lot of damage and mana regen. So I'd say you almost always get it. The alternative item builds, I would say, are going to be Shivas or Lincolns. Lincolns, I'd say, is pretty rare. Lincolns is really good against Doom, for example. And some people might say, okay, well, Lincolns isn't that great versus Doom because he can use his nuke to pop it and then use his ultimate on you. But the thing is, Lincolns will give you enough time to actually react and ult away. So I go top, got my my Orchid off. That was only an Aegis, but still. That just means that their high ground push they want to go for is much weaker without the Aegis on Juggernaut. So once again, it's like I was talking about with the Doom. It gives you enough time to actually react against those spells, against those heroes with those cast times, because they need to pop the Lincolns first and then use our disable on you. So that'll give you enough time to zip away. And Lincolns does give you some decent stats and some okay mana regen, but it's not something that I go for a lot. But yeah, it's going to be good against some heroes. Specifically heroes like Doom, Lion, Rasta, those type of heroes. So, oh, and BKB, obviously. Very, very good. But if you're going for BKB as like your second item, it's probably a losing game anyways, so I generally try and stick away from that. In more organized games, it's probably a lot better to be going for like an earlier BKB like that, but not in pubs. I'd say not in pubs. But depends on the game. Let's go back over to the easy camp, just pushing up. As you can see, I did a very clean jungle clear right there. Our lanes are pushing out. AM is essentially this game, when you have a hard carry such as Anti-Mage, Naga, those type of split pushing carries, and you are also on a very high mobility carry, you want to be just swinging them around the map. It makes it really easy to win, especially once you get your bigger items up. Makes it almost impossible for the enemy team to win because they can never really push into you. You're taking a lot of more farm off the map from them. And you're getting some tower damage. And like you're getting residual tower damage and Rax damage. And obviously this game they had a Treant, so he negates a lot of that, but still, it's the way you want to be playing. And I'd say the Treant is probably one of the biggest counters to this type of play as well, funny enough. So, but yeah. So, Shadow Demon gave me the wards because I told him that I'll place the wards. Shadow Demon really can't be going out on the map at this point, but I'm so high mobility. If I know where the Kunkka is, I can basically just escape. You need to be looking at the heroes that can actually kill you, or the ways that you can die, and then be taking notes of them. So the only way I really die this game is if I get X-Mark the spot and I misplay it with my ultimate. So if I know where Kunkka is, I can basically look at his items and basically his TP timings and play around with that. So since, for example, he TP's top and I'm bot, I can say, alright, I have 60 seconds where I can be really aggressive. So, Kunkka has Shadowblade there. Didn't get him, but not too big. I see he comes out though, so I go back in. I'm like, fuck it, let's do this. I do not even care if I die. I still got a kill, and I'm probably going to be forcing them all back. But Treant is kind of coming in here too, but at this point I'm really farmed. I've basically been farming this entire game. 214 CS, pretty high, considering the lane I was against. And obviously if you have a carry that's going to be using a lot of the map, such as AM, your CS will suffer a little bit as well. But we've been playing really well, both of us. Playing the map really well, basically perfectly, I'd say. And it's not like it's hard to do against the enemy lineup, as I said. They don't have any many disables. They're basically just a static lineup that kind of, I don't know, they didn't need to win earlier, but they needed to do just a little bit better in their laning stage. But it's still anyone's game. They have a very strong lineup that if we ever do make a mistake, they will be able to take down our base. Yeah. I mean, they will be able to take down our base if we don't have buybacks and if Techies isn't in position with his mines. But the enemy team has been doing a really good job of clearing the mines. And they have Abaddon. So for anyone who doesn't know, he can turn his ulti on and he can just run through mines. It's an insane counter, actually, for going high ground. He basically just pops his ult and then he runs in the mines. So Abaddon counters Techies, and basically Treant counters the play style that me and AM have been going through. So it's been a really difficult game for us. So I plan a ward right there because I'm going to be farming right here, and the common thing to do in the higher level games is they'll basically just wait over here and try and bait you. The Kunkka has been up here a little bit, and now that he has a Shadow Blade, I need to see him coming. So I even plan a sentry right there to maybe deward, but even if it doesn't deward, it'll give me vision if Kunkka comes near me. So I'll be really good at preventing those type of ganks with the X mark. So taking a look around mid, I have a pretty decent wave pushing in top, but I'm just clearing the wave. As you can see, guys, I'm constantly using my ultimate just for the extra mobility, but I am staying high in terms of my mana, just so in case I ever do get Kunkka ulted, I can actually try and play around it a little bit. So I might get X right here, but I'm trying to avoid it. If I keep zipping around, he actually can't cast. He can't cast on me because the cast time for X mark is pretty high. As long as I'm constantly zipping around, he won't have enough time to get the actual cast off, because I'll be continuously canceling his actual cast animation of X marks. But I only really run into danger if he actually manages to get it off. And then I make like a wrong zip, or he just outplays me, and then he's able to bring me back after my zip. Because if he X marks you and then you zip away, you still have the X marks debuff on you. So basically, you have to zip away at the correct time, more so towards the end of it. So as you can see right here, I get zipped back. I make a very small zip, and then I avoid it. So yeah. So I saw that he casted the torrent, so I basically timed it in such a way that I'd be able to avoid it. He probably should have waited to cast his torrent, to be honest. So kind of a misplay on his end. Best strain of cancer. I don't even know what's happening in the chat this game, guys. So we have a fight breaking out mid. Oh, this is a terrible fight. Like, look at how we do not have heroes for battling. Oh, we really just do not the heroes for battling. So hard to fight against, like Abaddon, Healing Ward, Treant. But I'm going in anyways. Using my ultimate. He has his Manta, which I actually did not know about. So really bad play by me. I did not check his items. So that was a dumb death by me, but I had a lot of charges on my Bloodstone, so I am respawning pretty quickly. AM is doing the correct decision though, or the correct move in just continuously ratting. He actually forced back all of them. Like, so even though I made that mistake, he basically covered up for me. But yeah, if I didn't make that mistake by going in, what I could have done is I could have just stayed in the area, canceled TPs, and just kind of swung in and out around them. But I went completely in, completely deep, and used all my mana. But we might have been able to get the tower bottom if I was able to create more space for AM by playing it more correct. But still, we have the ranged Drax down top, so we're just getting down the extra damage. But the thing is, we actually need to be killing the structures when we do engage versus the Treant lineup. Taking out the Ancients. Kind of weird to see a Storm taking out Ancients, but if that's the only farming you can do, then go ahead. Might as well just go and hit them. Be efficient. Alright, so we have a battle breaking out. AM has Heart, so pretty good. He's really tanky right now with the Heart and the Vlads. Pretty good armor. Moderately high HP pool. AM strength gain is pretty atrocious. That's kind of why he's not really like a hard carry by any means. He's just a flash farming hero who just kind of carries in the way that he accumulates gold faster than the enemy team. Yeah. So another fight breaking out. As you can see, I'm like, fuck it. I'm not even going near you guys. I can't win a fight either way. So I just need to complete split push, rat Dota them. Got the bounty. Going for Shiva's next because they have a lot of physical damage with things such as Edict, Juggernaut. Treant hits kind of hard as well, and then Abaddon puts on his buff, which makes them all attack really fast, move fast. And we don't really have too much control in terms of the battle. But if I can go in with the Shiva's Aura, reduce their attack speed, and then their move speed with the active from Shiva's, it'll make battles a lot easier. I don't know what Leshrac is saying. Alright, actually I might just mute this guy too. Let's just mute him. Just seems like a huge rager. So, yeah. Alright, so seeing that they're doing Roche, or we have an idea that they're doing Roche. So, but we do have two lines pushing in. So even once they do get the Roche, they won't be able to like immediately go down like a tower and take a Rax, for example. And see, this is why it's kind of really annoying to play against like these pushing heroes once they get their items up, like AM and Storm. Even if they get Roche, and if they even if they were to get like a huge gold and EXP lead, it's still really difficult for them to actually push down us. They actually need like Boots of Travel on a few heroes, probably some hexes to catch us out, and then they need to immediately Boots of Travel into like a push lane of Rags. But it's hard for us to do anything either because, well, Treant, as I said, the little bit of damage that we're getting in on their buildings just isn't really amounting to much. But I have my Shivas now. AM died, but it's not a big deal because their top lane is really pushed in, so they can't immediately go down that. Using my ulti to get out of base. I have a lot of mana regen, so I'm just kind of spamming it around the map. At this point, you kind of have to like strategize and think about like how are you actually going to win this game? Like, it's pretty much a stalemate game where we can't fight them, but they can't push into us ever. So you kind of need to make a plan of like, you kind of need to make like a suicide plan on someone. Like someone needs a suicide and take them out of position, so you can maybe go for like a tower or get a Rags or something. Or you just say, okay, we're still out farming them, so eventually we should be able to get six-slotted on like 2 or 3 of our heroes, and then we take a fight. But this game, it's just, we do not have team fighting heroes really. So even with a huge golden EXP lead, it'll still be really hard to actually battle them ever. Taking a look around the map. They are pushing us in now, so this is actually getting really scary. It's times like these where they actually can take a Rax, and it's kind of off the back of AM dying. If he dies, I'm not really enough of a force on my own to actually just push out of the lanes. It's basically only me on the map. As I said, Shadow Demon can't really leave our side of the base. Nyx can't get out to push lanes, and Techies, he can't really do too much. At this stage, instead of just like planting wards. I mean, not wards, mines in the base. It's basically all he can do. So taking a look at top, maybe we can kill him, maybe. But he gets X marked. I need to help him out though. I need to Orchid him, and I need to stun him, and I need to pop my Shivas to try and help him. But it's not enough. They're all there. Try my best, but just couldn't save him. And even you know, he's kind of made 2 mistakes in the past few minutes with those 2 deaths, but still he's been playing a really good game. Just the lineup is just a lot better than ours. I would say, at least. So going mid now. Jug is pushing us out with the Manta. Okay, so this is a really good item build by Juggernaut. He actually went for the Manta style instead of an SNY against our heroes, because Manta will give you a lot of lane pressure, especially against split push heroes, because it allows you to send illusions down a lane, and then you use your main hero, such as Juggernaut. So Juggernaut can basically use Manta, send illusions down one lane, go to another lane with this hero, and then push that out. So you can kind of like de-push 2 lanes, so it's really good in these type of situations over the Sanjin Yasha. So versus these type of lineups, a lot of split pushing, definitely go for Manta. The Manta ends up becoming a lot better late game once you get more stat items up and once you get your levels higher, because it scales with your stats. Now, Leshrac goes on me with the Hex, but I've seen that they were top. They can't really... I know that he doesn't really have too much backup, so I just go out. Just ulti away, and then I use my TP midair. Just something you can do. You can use items in midair. You can attack in midair with Storm. I say, look at your heroes, you're probably going to win. Lost cuz hero, sure. This guy's really salty. Anti-Mage has his BKB now, so now at this stage they really should not be able to kill him unless Juggernaut gets on top of him with an Abyssal Blade. Probably coming out of Invis, and they have all 5 other heroes backing him up. So like an Abyssal Blade from Juggernaut into a Hex from Leshrac into a stun. Use my ultimate. I don't... Okay, so I've seen that they're all mid though. AM is getting gone on again, but he has BKB now, so at this point we can maybe fight. If Leshrac burns all of his mana, you can actually get a big mana void off him. So I'm going to use my Zip right in the middle. Use my stun immediately. Pop my Shivas. Still saving on my Orchid. Use my Orchid on Abaddon when he comes out of stun, so that I get the efficiency of the Orchid, like, because you don't want to be stacking the Orchid with like a stun, for example. Might as well wait until it's over so he can shield himself. He would have died either way, but still. Just limiting the amount of time it takes for us to clean up. My item usage actually is pretty messy. Actually, it's something else I'll need to work on top of like doing too far of jumps. As I said. It takes a bit to get used to like having like 5 targets and then like a bunch of like items. It's like there's always going to be like the most optimal way to use them, and you won't always be taking that route. Just take a decent amount of thinking. but we managed to get the racks. The game isn't like completely over though. Now with 1 racks, we basically only got the racks because we were able to wipe them or get a bunch of kills, I should say. But I zip out. I didn't want to get hit by the Kunkka splash. That might have been a mistake of me zipping out that far right away. Kunkka is under farm, so he might have been able to one-shot me there, but maybe not. Just playing it safe, I guess. 6k gold now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Going for Hex. It's a really good item. Gives you a lot of mana. Gives you a lot of mana regen, and a really good disable. So I will have 2 stuns with my pull, my W on Storm, so your own hero ability, and then I'll have my Hex for another stun. And then I'll have an Orchid on top of that. So if I can use my Orchid on a hero that doesn't have BKB or Linken's, or maybe I use my Orchid after Abaddon uses a shield, that'll be basically 3 targets I can disable for a decent amount of time on top of my Shiva's debuff. So this hero just ends up becoming really strong with all these abilities. His split push, his presence to farm really fast. It's a really powerful hero in the late game. People don't really call him a hard carry, but once he gets to the late game, his ability to actually win the game with farm is that of a hard carry. I will call this hero a hard carry, basically. And there's also some more situational builds that you can go for on this hero, which I will be discussing, but it looks like there might be a fight breaking out mid. So I see the Treant. I'm just going to pull him in. I am Hexed, though, so this is kind of troublesome. Oh my god, but a huge mana void. I zipped away from the boat, and I don't want to be getting hit from the Juggernaut because he has his Abyssal and he's in the air. So if he got an Abyssal Blade bash off me, I would have died there. But I went in a little bit too deep. I ended up dying. AM is dead now too, so yeah, just too deep there. Just misplay from me. It's not reading the situation correctly with all the abilities going on. It gets really chaotic, but you need to remain calm and just look at what abilities are used and like what can they actually do to kill you if you are to go in, or how much HP do they have if you actually do go in. I just didn't read it there correctly. So Kunkka is actually getting really far at this point. He has crit, he has a Shadow Blade, but I am respawning quickly because I had a decent amount of Bloodstone charges. Okay, as another item that I was going to be discussing that's really situational, but you see that in some competitive games they'll get Assault Cuirass Sandstorm, and basically that's the item that you get if you have a lot of Bloodstone charges, and you have like an Orchid and an Aegis, and then you get the AC for really good high ground push, because AC is just a really good item in 5v5 clashes. It's good at taking towers, really good defensive and offensive measures for going high ground. But it is a situational item, but it is something that we do see occasionally. Usually Sumail builds it quite a lot on EG, so I've seen some other players build it as well, but still good situational item. AC. I honestly might have been able to get AC instead of the Hex this game, but I guess I didn't really have enough charges on my Bloodstone to get it. It's really just an item that you want to be getting if you have a bunch of charges on your Bloodstone, but you don't need another item with the mana regen. That you can get away with a more DPS oriented item. Just farming it up. So I see 2. He has his Hex. I don't have a BKB. Do not want to be going in on that. I see Kunkka. Oh, this would be perfect because Abaddon is bot and Dashak is back. But so I use my Orchid, or I use my my Hex and then my pull. I actually mistimed it there, but that's alright. He uses mana fully, but he wasn't missing that much mana. But I'm going in. I'm zipping in. AM popped his BKB. Had my Shivas up. I was on the high ground, so Leshrac couldn't hit me. Really clean fight. So it just looks like we should be able to get the Roche pretty easily. Popping my overload at every time. I Psychic Remnant to pop my overload. Still the Vlad's aura, so we have a lot of damage. It's got the lifesteal, the range lifesteal. Vlad's is so great now. It's gonna be really good in this game, especially this late, since I have the lifesteal from it now. Pushing in mid. Kunkka's still dead, Leshrac is still dead, and even when they do respawn, they still have to take some time to get here, so we can maybe get a Rax. By blinking on the Leshrac, I have my Orchid, so I'm not too scared to go in. AM should actually be taking the Rax because he does not have an Aegis. I'm just creating space. That's kind of what I was telling him. I was saying, alright, just go get Rax, go get Rax. I don't care if I die. I just want to buy some time. But he made the decision to just come in and fight, and it looks like it's a pretty good decision. We got the Kunkka kill and the Juggernaut kill, and I am back. Going on the Leshrac, but he gets Glimmer Caped and Abaddon healed, so I can't get him, but still, just creating space for my AM. My AM went on the Rax now. It looks like I'm dead. I am definitely dead, but still, we got another lane of Rax. Took out a bunch of their little shrines, and yeah, no, so they're basically just getting mined out now. They're running low on structures. They only have one more lane of Rax. It doesn't have a tower defending it. Their tier 4s are taking a lot of damage. Let's take a look at net worth. So, yeah, AM is topping the net worth by quite a bit. I'm right behind him by 4k. So I got the double damage. I went for my AC after my item. As my last item build. That was my last item. Because we really need the damage. We need the high ground ability. We need some way to actually help our team fight. And if you're lacking a team fight, AC is such a great item with the 10 armor differential it gives you between both your teams. So Nick's called out top. Just really simple gank. Leshrac is, I don't know. I guess he just kind of gave up now. He's like raging or something. So he went out way too far. But I guess a clean gank either way. I see a battle breaking out mid. I'm not ulting over there. So low on mana, but I zip in. Let's go on the Kunkka. I miss-zipped. Pretty poor play. What I should have done is just waited until I seen him. I zipped before I had complete vision on him. And so he just TP'd in place right as he went up the hill. And just outplayed me. I'm going on the Leshrac, just zoning him off. Use my stun on him, popped my Orchid, popped all my abilities on different targets. Just zipping around, constantly use my Overlord to proc it for the debuff. Now I'm just hitting the Rax. This Juggernaut should be dead, even if he isn't. We're taking the Rax. Alright guys, so basically this is the game. Yeah, hope you guys learned some stuff from this. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe, like the video. It really helps me out a lot. See you guys later.